Hi, this is Kim Thompson-Pinder, and I'm here with Nekisha Prince-Haynes. And welcome to the Author to Authority podcast. I'm really glad to have you on the podcast today, Nikisha. Welcome.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for the warm welcome. I am so elated to be on this podcast. I was so excited. I was actually counting down the days for the podcast.
Well, just before we get into it, I just want to remind the listeners that I always love to give away things for free. So if you want to learn how to talk to potential clients and customers and use powerful words that attract people to you, then make sure you go get your copy of my book, Power Words, Attract High-Paying Clients and Customers. It's free, and you can get it at www.powerwords.pro/free book. So Nikisha is not only an amazing person, but she's also an author, and she's the author of the book, Your Client is Not Your Friend. And, you know, when I first saw that title, I thought, wow, that is a pretty interesting concept. And just so you know, you can get Nikisha's book on Amazon, and we will try to make sure that we include a link in the show notes. So, Nikisha, first, before we get into your book, tell me a little bit about your story.
Hi, I am Nekisha Prince-Haynes, and I'm the proud author, as Kim mentioned, of Your Client is Not Your Friend. I am married, I have one son, and I currently reside on the beautiful island of Barbados. I am the business owner also of Prestige Admin Services, where I provide virtual assistance to online clients such as admin tasks, personal assistant, editing, proofreading, etc.
Awesome. Now, I know that you have a story around your book, Your Client is Not Your Friend. So tell me a little bit about what happened to you in your life that caused you to write that book.
Okay, so after some time of working with clients who took advantage of my services because I became too friendly with them, I decided if I want my business to be successful, then there are some things that I will have to do differently in my business in order for it to be successful. And whilst browsing through my online groups, I realized that I was not the only one in this situation. There were many other persons out there complaining about clients who took advantage of their services. So I thought to myself, why not write a book about this, teaching entrepreneurs and business owners how they could separate their personal life from their professional life, how they can work along with their clients, be friendly, and yet still keep it at that professional level. So that's how the book, Your Client is Not Your Friend, was birthed from past experience that I would have encountered and that of others that complained of having clients who took advantage of their services as well.
So do you think this is a common thing, especially when you're new to being an entrepreneur?
Definitely, because I've seen a lot of persons complain that they now started their business and they were desperate for work because I'm not sure if you're aware, but majority of clients that hire you, they're looking for some sort of experience. You might have the knowledge, but they're looking, okay, I need someone with 5 years experience, 6 years, and it can even apply even in the corporate world. Majority of employers, they want to hire somebody with experience. So now starting up as a business owner, many young business owners or startups are willing to work for clients for far less than they deserve. And in doing that, clients tend to take advantage of their services majority of the times.
Yes, yes. And do you think it's also a mindset as well?
I think it's a mindset because I think at the end of the day, it all boils down to you and what you want for your business. Because a client could come and say, okay, Nikisha, I am willing to pay you $8 an hour. But if I don't think I'm worth $8 an hour, then I wouldn't do it. So it's all up to me and what I want to do.
I know so many times in our entrepreneurial journey, we're afraid to actually charge what we think we're worth because we think people won't pay it. But I've learned that, you know what, there are always clients who will pay what you are worth. Now, sometimes you have to look a little bit longer for them. And yeah, sometimes you do have to, kind of prove yourself a bit. So you might take a couple of, lower paying jobs just to get some experience and some reviews. But, once you have those first couple of jobs under your belt, I think you just really need to start raising your prices and getting out there and networking with the right people who pay
Definitely.
you what you're worth.
Definitely.
That is awesome. Okay, so I know that today you came prepared with some really great practical tips for my audience to help them in terms of making sure that they keep those proper relationships with their clients.
Definitely. So my first tip that I'm going to give with any business owner, whether you are now starting your business or you're a seasoned entrepreneur, you have to know the why in your business. Why did I start my business? What do I want to accomplish? And in knowing your why in starting your business, that's what keeps you motivating and that keeps you going and not give up. Secondly, I would say to have a strong, supportive team. As long as you have a strong, supportive team, be it one friend, two friend, family, as long as you have that strong support and those encouraging words that you need, because there are going to be days and times along this entrepreneurial journey that you are going to want to give up.
Mm-hmm.
And in having a strong supportive team, then you have someone to say, okay, Nikisha, why did you start it? Do not give up. And there's that support and that motivation to keep going. Thirdly, I will say to keep at what you're doing. If you want to be an expert in writing, then you need to practice daily. You can't just say, I want to be a writer, and you write one story or two story and you stop there. No, it doesn't work that way. You got to keep going at it, keep practicing in order to be an expert in whatever area you want to be that expert in.
Awesome. Now, also, let's talk a little bit about how to have a professional relationship with your clients, because you talk about your clients not being your friend in your book. And so obviously you have to, you still have to have good relationships with your clients. So talk a little bit about what does that look like to have good professional relationships?
Okay, having good professional relationship with your clients, first and foremost, I think that you need to establish a boundary line with your client. As long as you establish that boundary line with your client, then you work within that boundary line. So you ensure that, okay, I'm not going to make the mistake of not signing no contract, because some clients, they want you to work and say, okay, Nikisha, it's just a one-time project, or it's nothing difficult, there's nothing simple, I'm trustworthy, I'm honest, and I am going to pay you. And then you make that mistake and you go work for the client, and then when that job is completed, then the client disappears. And then you're left there, your time wasted, and you can't get it back. Time is money, and wasted time cannot be regained. So you have to establish that professional relationship with your clients and let them know, yes, this is business and I'm going to do business the right way. There's nothing wrong with being friendly with your clients. You could crack a joke, hi, how you doing? But you have to maintain that professional relationship with your client. If not, it's going to cause you tremendous pain, stress, loss of income, and unnecessary drama. And I'm telling you this from a personal perspective, because I've had times whereby I let my guard down and I mixed business with pleasure, and the results was very bad. It's something that I would not want to experience again. So I try to teach persons not to end up in the same positions that I would have been in.
So just a little bit to note on that. So I think one of the things that Nikisha's talking about here is making sure that you have systems in your business and that you follow that system all the time with every single client. So she talked about having a contract. And so that is very important, that you have a contract in your business that spells out, the pricing, when the payment is due. And you know what? You are allowed to ask for a deposit. If you're providing a service or a
Definitely.
product, you can ask for, anywhere from a 15 to about 33% deposit to start a project, especially if you're going to have expenses at the very beginning of that project. You are allowed to ask for a deposit. And so, there's many different ways that you can do it. One of the ways that I do it, because I sell higher end packages, is that, we set up a monthly payment schedule through a PayPal subscription, which is super easy to do, by the way. You can, if you have a business account with PayPal, you log in, there's a place where you set up the button, you copy the email, you send it off to the client, they subscribe, and it comes out every single month. So, there are things that you can do, but that contract really should have, the pricing, the payment schedule. It should have what you are going to provide for that amount of money, what you are going to do, what you will not do, so the boundary lines in there, and also what you expect the client to do. And you know what, I just call it a simple work agreement. I don't call it a contract. This is just the work agreement. It just explains what you can expect from me and what I expect from you, so that the lines of communication are always clear and open. Would you agree with that?
Definitely, because it's not only about having a contract, and you have to make that contract clear. Set your boundary lines and make sure that they are as simple, in the simplest form as ever. So don't try to use all these big words, and just simplify it so that your clients can understand. Make sure that there's no room for misinterpretation. So everything should be crystal clear when dealing with your clients, so there's no mistake. So you don't want your clients to be, oh, I think this is what you meant. Everything should be crystal clear. No miscommunication, no misunderstandings.
Very, very true. And would there be anything else you'd add to that contract?
For my contract, I always let my clients know this is business. Business is business. There's no mixing business with pleasure. Do not ask me for discounts. Let me be the one to give you discount if I want to give you discounts. Mm-hmm. There's no discount. And you always need to ensure that, the fine prints.
Yes.
Make sure we insert the fine print, so that, okay, if my bill is not paid, if you do not pay off this project by a certain amount of time, then this is what will be the results.
Yes, there'll be a penalty.
Sometimes, because sometimes the client pays the deposit, and then they want to kind of bully the project as well too. It's like, oh, I need my project done by this time, and oh, I paid you some money, and they get demanding. So you have to draw that line with your client and let them know exactly what it is. You pay me to do a project. There's a stipulated time for doing this project, and until that time is elapsed, you do not need to be harassing me about your project.
Very, very good. Yes. Timelines, putting timelines in this work agreement as well, so that people understand. Yeah. Awesome. So something else I was thinking of in terms of systems for your business is also delivery systems. Because when you're working with clients, you have to have ways of delivering what you've promised to them in a timely fashion. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely. So I think that boils down to where your client is located. If your client is in the same region as you are, or if your clients are mostly online clients. Or sometimes there are clients that will want you to actually visit the office either once per month or twice per month. So it all boils down to where your client is located, and then you set up that delivery format.
Now, would you agree as well that if you're working locally and you're doing traveling, that you need to include those things in your costs?
Definitely.
And all your time.
Definitely. You got to factor in everything. If you're driving, you got to factor in the gas. If not, you have to look at transportation, and even working online. There's so many things. There's electricity bill, there's internet bill. You have to take everything into consideration. So when you're setting your price for your contract with your client, you got to take everything into consideration. Don't just say, okay, I'm just going to only charge for my time only, because there's still other things that will need to be involved in getting that project completed.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your book. Your client is not your friend. So what was it like writing this book?
Wow. Writing this book for me, it was an amazing journey. And why I say it was an amazing journey, because whilst I was younger, I did wrote a book before, but I never really had the opportunity to publish the book. So now that I've grown older and I wrote this book, I was excited to write the book, although I was a bit annoyed because it was birthed out of clients taking advantage of my services. I was eager and anxious to write a book, and not only write a book, but to finally have it published and out there. So
Awesome.
The journey was amazing.
So tell me, what would you say was one of the hardest parts of writing that book?
Okay, for me, one of the hardest part in writing the book is that I just didn't want to write a book and put a book out there for writing a book's sake. I wanted to make sure that my book was written in a way that anybody, even the smallest child or somebody, as we would say, who doesn't have a degree or a diploma, could read and understand and still apply it to their businesses. So I wanted to make sure that my book was written in the simplest form, and I ensure that I place scenarios with it. So I just didn't say, okay, do not cross this line. I gave an example of why you shouldn't cross the line. Mm-hmm. So everything that I try to put in the book, I try to put it out in a way that persons could understand what I'm saying. I don't want to leave them there like, oh, I wonder what she's talking about. So that was my hardest part, in getting everything in the simplest form ever, but yet still get the point over of what I'm trying to say.
Now, did you have any points in writing that book where you felt like you wanted to quit?
Actually, no, because I was excited to write my book. As I said, it was my second book. So I was excited. So at no point I wanted to give up in writing the book. Actually, I think I stopped the book before time. I think that I should have continued writing the book because there were still more experiences that I wanted to put into the book, but yet still I did not want to have a book that's going to bore a lot of people, because I realized that persons nowadays, they do not want nothing that is too big and thick and that's going to take them a long time to read. So I kind of cut the book short, but yet still try to put in the main points of starting a business and what you will go through. And this is how it's going to end up.
Awesome. So how can people get a hold of you and connect with you?
I can be contacted WhatsApp, which is the going thing now. Telephone number +1 246 261 6377, or you can contact me on Instagram at Your Client Is Not Your Friend.
Awesome. And don't forget, you can get Nikisha's book on Amazon. And so if this is something that you've been struggling with, if you find that your clients are taking advantage of you, that the relationships are not right, that they're not paying you and things, then I highly suggest that you get Nikisha's book. So definitely. Nikisha, thank you so much for being on the Author to Authority podcast today. And this is Kim Thompson-Pinder, and we will see you on the very next episode.
Thank you so much for being a guest on your show, Kim, and do have a great day. And to all the listeners, thank you so much for lending me a listening here and being able to take away some tips and nuggets of how to separate your personal life from your professional life.
Thanks so much.